When I ended up in the shelter last year, in the Lakota way, because I carry a pipe, and the pipe is holy, we would say the spirits put me there. And I was supposed to be there.
Yep.
And this is supposed to be the result. And on the intake papers, it said, you sign away your civil and constitutional rights. And I'm not joking when I said my hair stood on end. Yeah, that is not legal, that is not acceptable, that's not possible, that's not a lot of things. But I started talking to the men who were there. And I said, don't you realize? And they said, yeah, but we feel at risk, or some said vulnerable, and they said, we're simply not going to sleep under trees where we're at risk of violent people, bullying police officers, and whatever else. And I didn't even want to think about whatever else meant. And one of them said to me, can't you come up with a better way? And this is it. We're looking for a fifth board member because our fifth member had to quit after we got our papers making us official. Even if somebody sees this video and they decide that they would like to be a part of this, but maybe they don't think they can pass the background check. We do the background check, we set the standards. I want to read the mission statement and the aim. We've reworked this a few times, but this is the latest version. So, and then after we get done following through all this, ask questions as we go. The strong, secure, single men's housing cooperative is a means for members to gain the skills together to heal from past traumas and difficulties in their lives so they can confidently believe themselves able to successfully address challenges from now on without excuses or the use of alcohol or drugs. Wakia wrote a lot of this. He's our man here. He's our board member. He's a custodial father, a single man, father of 3, and he's working. He just couldn't be here. So, but he wrote the mission. I put some notes out, and he did. And if Clarence put anything in that I don't remember, and I don't mean to short you know that. But the aims of the cooperative are to provide for men who have been harassed or discriminated against by one or more landlords a means to learn to stand on their own 2 feet, strong and secure in their inner dependence, in their ability to depend on themselves without excuses, the use of alcohol or drugs, and without the disrespectful oversight or threats of eviction by others, not counting their peers who are men of similar experiences. To provide for men who have been harassed or discriminated against by one or more landlords an opportunity to support and build inner strength of spirit, mind, emotions, and perspectives about themselves, as well as support regarding interacting with and relating to the world around them through being secure in their home lives with the support of like-minded men having focus on the same objectives. Because if you're not secure in your home life, if you're constantly under the threat of eviction, it makes things very, very dicey. You don't go home to a haven. You go home to what is more like a foxhole. This is not healthy. To provide for men who have been harassed or discriminated against by one or more landlords to learn life and social skills that they can effectively use to live in a good way with their own best friend, which is themselves. A lot of these men work day labor, they work extremely low-end jobs. I have access to an amazing amount of skills and people to teach them better skills so that they can actually get decent employment. There are businesses in this city who have told me they prefer to hire felons because they can do anything to them or with them, and the guys won't complain because they're afraid of being back homeless. We're not going there. I'm not going to let that happen. I've been fighting that one since 1999, and I'm going to continue it. This is part of that. So I'm glad the man asked me because I was thinking somebody needs to do something. Somebody, everybody, nobody, here she is. And then to learn to forgive themselves and others from their past, both people and situations, so they can heal the spiritual, emotional, mental, and or perspective traumas from their past, knowing that they have scars in the form of bad memories, but no festering open or scabbed over wounds. So they no longer see themselves as less powerful or less worthwhile than most, or as victims forever, but they instead see themselves as more powerful than anything or anyone from their past, and that they are in control of their lives. It's a visionary approach to reducing recidivism amongst men who are ex-convicts by eliminating some landlord discrimination harassment for its members. We don't expect to eliminate it all, but we can start it this way. And once this is working, I expect it will expand. It's a path maker. It operates on the principles that people who never have the opportunity to pick themselves back up after they fall down can't learn how to do that. But that a group of like-minded men who are focused on an objective will be far more successful than individuals who feel they're going it alone. This has been amply demonstrated by such people and groups as Vince Lombardi and the Green Bay Packers. Coach Lombardi was a hard man. He worked his players nearly as hard as he worked himself. He made them world champions 5 times with his insistence on them believing in themselves. And he used this poem as part of that training. If you think you can't do a thing, you're right. You can't, but somebody else can, and they will. If you think you're not good or worthy enough to achieve a thing, you're right. You're not, but somebody else thinks they are, and they will achieve that thing. In life as in sports, the race goes not to the stronger, swifter, or better man. It goes to the man who thinks he can. As my elders taught, nobody can make a doormat of you unless you let them. The Strong, Secure Single Men's Housing Cooperative aims to help you learn how to not let anyone make a doormat of you just because you went behind the iron door. So how does a cooperative function? In a cooperative, the members have a voice and a vote on practically everything the co-op does. Cooperative, after all, means working together. Actually, cooperatives were ours, Indians, indigenous. And Europeans tried to deep six all that because we thought in terms of the group, not ourselves. Mm-hmm. Then, I don't know how many 100 years later, they came up in North Dakota with the idea of cooperatives. And it's a European thing. They invented this. Yeah, right. So, you know, it's come full circle. But in a housing cooperative, every member buys one share and gets a voice and a vote in how things are done so that everyone is assured of a safe, secure place to live, including to sleep. Some housing cooperatives have their own buildings. Some, like this one, don't. And that's because the church owning the building gives the members more protection from harassers. And in this housing cooperative, every member gets a room of his own with a lock on the door and his own key. And it's his key and it's his lock. Everybody gets something different. The cooperative requires that every member will also have a key to the outside doors. So that when you leave, the door is locked just as if you were in your house. And so you can let yourself in and out as you come and go. At this point in time, nobody on the board thinks we need to have hours, you know, just we expect a reasonable amount of quiet at, you know, sleeping time, let's say after 10:30 or 11. But that's something the men have to work out for themselves. The objective here is to eliminate as much chaos as possible, to provide the members a safe haven from harassment, and that means no alcohol, no psychoactive drugs, marijuana, prescription tranquilizers, or painkillers, nothing. No pornography, so that's no sex offenders, no bullying or violence. Everybody will pitch in to clean some areas daily, others weekly, others some other period of time. Because when you clean physically, you clean spiritually. Everything starts in the spiritual realm, whether it's trauma or healing. There are 2 kitchen areas, which are communal, so everyone can use them, including cleaning up after themselves. And there are 2 showers, for sure, and possibly a third, each with a sign-up sheet and a lock on the door. There are security cameras outside, so that your bicycles, cars, or whatever are safe. But the members have a say in how to deal with anyone who breaks the contract. So let us say that somebody has a drinking problem and every once in a while they fall off the wagon. As long as they don't create some horrendous situation, the other men might not throw them out, but they'd have the ability to if they wanted to. If somebody uses drugs, my vote will always be you're gone, period. Several reasons, and the biggest one is that It's scientifically proven that the human body, including the brain, never recovers from the damage caused by drugs, and all drugs cause damage. But you do recover from alcohol. So to me, alcohol is the lesser thing. And if somebody is the kind of drinker who turns into Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde if he drinks, the other guys are going to straighten him up. I grew up with 11 ex-military uncles. I grew up seeing how men focus. All together now, whether you want to or not, they kind of do this thing. But a cooperative is a team effort. If your word is worthless, you are too. You are worth less. But a successful team, look at any football team, they're composed of winners who work together. We're going to do background checks on everybody, but we set the conditions of a background check. And the fee for a check is $15. If you pass, the fee applies towards your cost of membership. If you don't pass, we keep the money because everything costs us. But $15 is not a whole lot. And every month there is a payment to be made, but it's somewhere between a third and a half of what an apartment would cost. It costs money to maintain the building, heat it, cool it, move snow, water, trash, electricity, all of that. So this is, everybody gets an equal share. We're still working that out for the custodial fathers because they get more space. Wakia said they should pay more, and I can go along with that. Clarence can, Glenn can, so far so good. Your membership is for your lifetime once you buy in, as long as you pay it every month and don't break the contract. And if you want to move out, you can get your membership fee back. If the members remove you for some bonehead stunt, you won't get your fee back. But we're thinking custodial fathers. I wrote non-custodial, I was wrong. For custodial fathers, oh wait a minute, pardon me. Non-custodial fathers were expecting to pay $500 to $550 to buy in. That's 2 months. That's what we think this is going to be, around $250 to $275 a month. If you're a custodial father, you pay a higher fee. So it's not terribly hairy. Our objective is safe, reasonably quiet, secure, people learning how to get along in order to get further along and to get skills. This is to provide people with the freedom that they need to develop themselves. And you aren't going to do that in a jail. It doesn't happen. I know it, you know it, everybody knows it. So the membership application asks, can you pass a background check? We won't accept sex offenders. We won't accept people who have been violent. We're going to say within a year right now. We don't know for sure, but including charged but not taken to court or convicted because domestics often get dropped. Drinkers, drug users, especially dealers, and petty thieves. So, if you embezzled $100,000, we'd probably let you in. We just won't let you near the money. But if you're one of these guys who walks through the store and his backpack weighs 5 pounds more when he leaves, and he didn't pay for anything, that's a different thing because you're going to pick up other people's stuff. Or you're likely to. And we ask if you are employed, if so, by what company, because we don't accept welfare. Welfare wants to take this over and tell us what to do, and we're not going to go there. We can't accept VOSH because the Veterans Affairs people tell us VOSH is only for rentals, and this is not a rental. You actually get tax deductions for ownership of a home with this cooperative. In a housing cooperative. If you get pension or disability payments, those are not welfare. If you get SNAP, food benefits, that's not welfare, it's the money. If you're covered under ADA, if you require 24-hour assistance, we cannot accept you because the rooms aren't big enough to take care of all your equipment and a second person in a bed. And it struck us that it's a safety hazard to have you living next door to each other and you need somebody in the middle of the night and you have to wake them up, they have to get up, get dressed, run through the hall, yada, yada. No. So ADA, yes, and maybe you're in a wheelchair but you don't require somebody 24 hours. Maybe you need help to get dressed. I would think that cooperative members, there'd be somebody there who would help you put your pants on, but whatever. That's, again, something the men can vote on and decide. So We can take the $15 as cash or bank card or check. And like I said, if you're successful, the fee applies to your membership buy-in. If you're not, the fee is not returned. I want to thank Run-Ins for their support for popcorn, and I want to thank Paradiso for the chips and salsa. And they've been really good to us. And I want to thank Glenn and Clarence for putting up with me and my nearly never-ending stream of ideas. But, you know, this is an idea that's been a long time coming, and 18 months isn't a long time. It's longer than that. And I still believe in it, and not because I thought of it, but because somebody in a homeless shelter did. If you have any questions, thoughts, I'd love to hear them, so would we all. Anything?